Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Solar Sales Uncensored. I am your host, Aaron Browning, and I am fired up for today's topic. It has been a couple weeks in the coming because this gentleman, Mr. David Ringo, is so incredibly busy. Before I bring him up, I want to share a few of his accolades because he is very modest and he's going to yell at me for saying these anyway, but I have to. I want to make sure that we get your undivided attention of who this expert is. He's been in the solar space for over 13 years. He is a seasoned solar pro. He is a solar vet. He has done over 4,500 installations. Like, how incredible is that? That's a mic drop moment in itself. Before linking up with our company, he used to actually run the install crews as well. He would have anywhere from 3 to 5 install crews working every single day to keep up with that volume, which is incredible. But the real reason I'm bringing him up here, it should be that, is his passion, his expertise for helping roofing companies, roofing divisions expand their portfolio over to solar and what he's coined as doubling their revenue by adding a solar division. So this is going to be action packed, whether you are in roofing, whether you're a solar pro and you're looking to have more conversations with roofers, you're looking to bless more roofers, or heck, maybe you're looking for a lead source. We're going to touch on all avenues of roofing and solar and how that marriage is just a marriage made in heaven. Without further ado, Mr. David Ringo, how the heck are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for working around my schedule. Like you said, it was tough for us to line up. We've been trying to do this for about 2 weeks. So I thank you for the patience, man.
100%, man. I'm fired up for this one, man. I had the privilege of hearing you speak on the national stage a few weeks back with our president of our company that we happen to work together on. And the feedback, the reviews was amazing, man, and very well deserved. What I love about you, before I don't want to steal any of your thunder, you're treating this like a business. And that is my passion. That's why we launched this podcast. I'm tired of hearing people in the solar space talk, just treating it transactional, where they're going from one install to the next. And you have that business mind behind it that I just love. And I know our audience will love too, man. We're so really grateful. But without further ado, man, let's talk about a little bit about your history, if you don't mind, and how you got involved with helping to bless roofers.
Yeah. Like you said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't know that I actually had a plan to get to this point. It's just morphed into, you're in the industry for so long and you coexist with roofers for as long as I have, because I've installed systems that I've had to take down since they've been installed. And you think about that, and usually that's really not a good thing to hear, but been at 13 years, 10, 12 years later, you got to take a system down to have a new roof up. That system really has served a long time and saved them a lot of money. But yeah, I've worked with a lot of roofers over the 13 years and tons of roofers. And honestly, Aaron, a couple of years ago, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion. This wasn't a discussion that was feasible to have 3, 4, 5 years ago, especially in the Southeast where I'm at in Florida. It's not really prominent enough. Now solar has really taken off, and pairing solar and roofing together is an absolute no-brainer and a necessity for roofers to continue and to grow. It's just, in my mind, it's not an option. It's a necessity, if you ask me.
What makes you say that? Because I noticed you lit up when you said it. You leaned in, your posture, for those catching this on YouTube.
Yeah. So listen, so solar guys sell solar all day long and roofing reps sell roofing all day long. But my thing is, if you're not selling solar and roofing together, if you're selling roofing by itself, you're going to be left behind. And it's compoundingly because listen, if you're a roofing guy, this is an example I use all the time. And when I'm talking to roofers, I use this example, and you can almost use this and be done. This is the end all be all. If you ask me, if you have, let's just say, Aaron, you call somebody for a roofing quote. Okay.
Yep.
So you get a roofing quote. Number one guy comes out. You really like him. He's great. And he talks about a shingle roof, and he's going to give you a $15,000 shingle roof. And you're like, hey man, this guy was presentation. He was professional, took his shoes off or whatever it is that triggered your excitement about that individual, right? The pricing's right, the quality, everything's right, but you do your due diligence and you get 2 more estimates, right? So the second guy comes out, or guy or girl, whatever, the rep comes out and they say, listen, Aaron, we've got a great roof project for you. It's going to be $15,000, but have you ever thought about doing solar at the same time? And you're like, no, I haven't. Why would I? And that's the response that most people get.
Yep.
But as a roofer that's already in the house, that has already got a client that they're talking to, and they already trust them about listening to their product, and they say, listen, I want to show you the benefits of solar and roofing together. There's a tax credit that is you can have on both. And then there's financing is better. If you do both together, your financing is so much better. Okay, so great. So the second rep has now really gotten Aaron's attention, right? The first rep is still there. It's got the roof, and now you got a roof. So you get your third quote. and you mention to them, say, hey, by the way, I just had somebody leave. We're going to do a roofing solar estimate. Can you do the same thing? Yeah, absolutely. So they give the same estimate. It's a roofing solar. They show the tax implications. The financing is for 20 years, not 5 or 7 as most roofers have. Some
Yep.
of them have better financing, but most of them are shorter term. So you go back to that first person. Let's just say it was me that was there selling a roof. And you're like, hey, David, listen, we just had 2 other estimates. We really liked you. Everything went great. But now we have people that are saying solar and roofing together makes sense. Can you add solar to that? And here's the deadly sin is, Aaron, I got a guy. As soon as you start stumbling, and if you don't have that as an offering, you're dead. They're going to shred your contract the second that conversation's over. I don't care what you say. Nobody's going to go through and say, okay, listen, we really like David. Those other 2 guys had the package together. It made sense and they weren't awful people. Let's give David some time to go find a roofer to work with and then find the financing that doesn't happen.
No.
So if you're not doing it all together at the same time, it's deadly. It's really bad news. For me, for that reason alone, when I talk to roofers, when I sit in their conference rooms or when I'm talking to reps and I want to get their attention, I always use that example. And man, you light them up because they realize that they're leaving money on the table every single day when they're not offering solar in conjunction with roofing. It's just that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's powerful. And you're 100% right. We could end the podcast right there. That was the nugget. By the way, he's gonna deliver more, so stay with us. But that was the nugget of all nuggets. It really is. It reminds me of my real estate days. I know you and I talk about this. Solar to me reminds me of real estate 20, 25 years ago. It just does. And that's what gets me so excited. It's untapped, man. It's just,
yes.
It's amazing. I haven't slept well since starting this venture. In real estate, I learned that there are so many agents, soon to be so many solar pros, that we want to separate ourselves. It's the purple cow. And so I love this from a roofing perspective. If you're not adding more resources, more problem solving, more value to your customer, even if in that example they said, David, we don't want solar, we're not a fan, whatever, you just separated yourself.
Absolutely.
You just stood out from the masses, man. And I freaking love that.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing about it is, there's so many aspects of it that we could talk into even more granularly. When you start talking about the financing, the tax credits, the other offerings that solar companies have, as you and I both offer more than just solar.
Yep.
What else do we offer? We offer storage. We offer EV chargers. We offer other things that go with solar. And if somebody's got a brand new Tesla in their garage and they wanted a roof, and you can say, listen, I can do solar to charge your Tesla and include the battery or the EV charger with it, man, that's a slam dunk. You're taking care of problems that they have, which is what salespeople are doing, right? That's what you do is, when you go out to somebody's house, you're trying to solve a problem and fix something. And that's one way of doing it. You just compound it when you have more offerings. So
I love it. Can we take a deep dive on 2 of those, man? So the first being financing.
Sure.
A traditional roofer, I know it's going to vary some, but what are you seeing out there nationwide? Like how long are the terms? Are they offering it? Is it just a credit card? Is it cash? What does that look like, traditional roofer?
Now, granted, if there's roofers watching, they're all going to disagree with me. But from what I see, and I have worked with some roofers, and especially during Ian, and I don't know, we probably didn't plan on talking about that, but I spent a lot of time during aftermath of Ian down in that area helping roofers sell projects. And most of that was insurance work. But what I did see for terms was up to like 7 years is a typical from what I see. And I'm sure there's roofers have been around longer that have longer terms and all that kind of stuff and maybe better terms, but majority of them are 7 years-ish, because if you take a $15,000 project and split it over 15 years, or I'm sorry, 7 years, that's a pretty good length of time. But if you're doing a solar and a roofing together and you're going to get tax credit, it's a lot better. So I'm seeing about 7 years is what I see.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, I've dealt with roofers a lot in the real estate world too. Most of the time that financing is not through them. It's some through a third party, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. It'll be through a third party. Absolutely.
Okay. Like we had a go-to guy here in Northern Virginia. I still love him. I'm going to have a conversation with him about solar after this. He actually doesn't have financing. So he would always say to our customers, can you take out a home equity? Are you sure you don't have cash? Do you have a credit card? He was figuring something else out, but he was very limited. Unfortunately, most people across this country can't stroke a check for 15 grand. Yeah. So to be able to add that financing piece is huge. Let's dovetail that. What are we looking at with our company at Solar? Like how long can you stretch it out if you're doing the roof with solar? What does that look like?
You can take it out. We start at 7 years. I had somebody, I just left the house about an hour ago and they were saying, listen, how long can I take this? And I said, how long do you want? And they said, we want it to go over 10 years. So I'm like, I've got 7, 12, 15, 20, and 25 with one lender. Yep. So you can take it out 25 years pretty easily through solar. It used to have 30-year terms. And I'll be honest with you, I think 30 years just sounds way too mortgage-ish, if that's a word. But
it is now.
Communication was made. I think honestly, 20 to 25 years, 25 is a long term, but it makes the payments palatable, if you will.
Yep.
20, and it depends because if you go out to California, 15-year loans are having some great returns and you have less of a payment. In Florida, I'm going 16 cents is still a high number. 18 is a really high number. So your payments are going to, 25 years, it really helps having that extra time there. But you can take them out 25 years, no problem. And that's multiple lenders taking out 25 years.
Yeah. The other thing too, I want to really make sure the audience understands what you just said. Even if you're against 25 years, and that's cool, right? We're all salespeople. We all have our beliefs. That's part of what makes us unique. Having that tool in your arsenal is huge. If having the lowest monthly payment is important to a client, you're not just stuck at a 7 year if your company even offers that. Maybe it's like my guy and you don't. Now you have a whole array of different terms and interest rates and length and all that sort of stuff. So now you're able to build a system, design the right roof, and figure out the financing behind it just by adding a solar division. That is powerful.
Absolutely. And the thing about you said, and we could have a whole, this is probably an idea for your next podcast or at
Love
least
it.
one down the road, is the financing options. Because as you know, you can have really low interest rates and really high fees or vice versa. They're going to get you one way or the other. I always use that comparison. What do you want to
Yeah.
pay on the front end or over the period of time? So I had somebody the other day, they wanted to pay cash and they were like, listen, I just need a year and a half. Give me a year and a half. And I said, I'll do this. I'll give you the longest term I can with the highest interest rate, and the financing cost very little. The payments were not pretty, but he didn't care because he's going to use it for about 16 months and he's going to pay cash for the rest of the system. So the fact that you have financing is one thing, but to have somebody like yourself and myself that can actually help people, and I don't like the word manipulate, that's the wrong word, but to have people to be able to utilize the tools as your resource and to understand how to use financing to where it really fits like a glove for the person needing it, that's a huge deal. So when I bring roofers on, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in other ways too, but I like to make sure that they understand from the beginning, listen, you got a 25-year term and you can get down to whatever our lowest is right now. I think 399 or something like that. But that doesn't mean that's the end all be all, because there's terms in between there that may fit somebody. And you see an 11.99 interest rate, people run from it, but man, that may be the right solution. And that's what we did go with the guy that wanted a year, he goes a year and a half. So in 16 months, he'll probably have it paid off. And it's just a bridge loan at this point, just to get him through that point to where he can pay it off, because he's got some things he's cashing in on. And so, yeah, to be able to use that. So when I talk to finance guys, when I talk to roofing guys, I tell them, listen, I'm going to be able to help you out with that financing piece too, to understand it all. And that's a critical piece of it. The financing is great when it's 25 years, but you got to understand that's not always the 25-year and the lowest interest rates, not always the best fit.
Yeah, it's really well said, man. It's about problem solving. That's what we are as high level salespeople. And just the more problems we're able to solve through financing and many other things we'll talk about here today, you're putting yourself in a better situation. It's just a fact. You can't argue it. So let's talk about tax benefits. So is there a tax benefit for someone just getting a roof?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So in order for someone to get a tax benefit, they would need to bundle that roof with the solar?
That's correct.
Okay. What can you walk me through that? What is that number? How does that work?
Yes. Can you I don't know if you can put any messaging across here. We just need a brand on top of this that I'm not a CPA. So let's start there. I'm not a financial advisor or CPA. I'm the last person you want to talk to about that. But listen, when you start bundling things with renewable energy, with solar, the taxes, as you roll the package together, depending on how you do it, if it's done, you're going to get a tax credit on pretty much everything. You'll hear there's three sides to this. There's people that are adamantly against it, adamantly for it, and there's people that are right in the middle and say you got to play by this rule and all that stuff. And I've got multiple CPAs I've worked with over the years. Now there's CPAs that are specifically designed to actually talk to how to bundle all that stuff together. So there's people out there that do that. Now, what I typically do is I know I have a CPA that I work with, and he's the best CPA in my mind because he has solar on his roof, and he did the solar and the roof together as a bundle. So he's my perfect guy.
Yep.
He's the perfect one for me to refer people to. But yeah, the IRS is not searching for people that have bundled those together. They're not looking for that. And it's not that it's an issue anyway. But again, not a CPA, not a financial advisor. I want you to make that flashing in red later if you can.
Definitely take care of you. Bring all heat to me. I'm the one that asked it.
There you go. There it is.
No, but it's true. I tell people that all the time, and I'm glad you said that because I probably would have forgotten this time, unfortunately. But yeah, that tax credit, if done the way David and I understand it, the way we're doing it personally, is huge.
It,
If you're not bundling that, you're not even able to remotely have that conversation of a 30% tax credit on a roof and also on the solar job. That's massive. That purple
yeah,
cow. I want you guys to keep thinking that, and gals, excuse me. How can I separate ourselves? There is not a roofer in this country that does not have a solar division that is talking about a tax credit. It doesn't benefit you.
no.
Now, all of a sudden, with you having this, you can. Like, that changes everything.
And it's interesting you say that. Before we go to the next question, I like to say that roofing is like a commodity, and it sounds awful. It's almost toilet paper in the house. You need it, and you get nothing out of it. Now, granted, there's different things that we can put in a house that you can say that have different value, but a roof, if you have to sell a house and you have a roof that needs to be replaced, you're paying full price. You're paying retail price, and there's nothing you get around it. So my point exactly to you is, you may get one more year out of that roof until you sell your house, and you don't have to spend that 15 grand. It may just be to where the inspection doesn't go well, and you're going to spend 15 grand to change that roof before you sell your house, if that's the scenario, right?
Yep.
But you get nothing out of that except for a dry house, which is, it's a necessary evil. Don't get me wrong, it's necessary, but they have a time limit and they don't have a tax credit. So you're right. It's a static product that you have to buy that has no real true value other than its true function. When you buy solar, it has multiple functions, and it's a great way to really position yourself financially as a resident in this country. It's great. Yeah.
So you're a lot nicer than I am. This is uncensored. So I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I will offend some roofers, but if for the big boys and big girls on the call, hear us out, because this is true. My real estate days, I always said roofing and windows are like the same, and they are to me, in the sense that I'm not going to drop 30,000 on a roof, 40,000 on windows, whatever, and call all my friends saying, you got to come look at my new roof. You got to come look at my new windows. Yet it's a huge thing that you have to have. I agree with you. It's a necessity, but it's not sexy. Like, it's not fun. Now, at least with solar, dude, they're having conversations about it. Like, they're pumped about it. They're not like, when's the install? When are you doing my roof? It just changes everything. I know I offended some, but it's true.
Yeah. When's the last time you went to your friend's house and you're like, oh, you got a new roof, and you stand on the front yard talking about it? It just doesn't happen. You're right.
No.
It's not that sexy. It's not that it just does. It's a function, and it's not fun to talk about, but you're right. You couldn't have said that any better. That was very well said.
I appreciate it. The other cool thing with this too is, and I'm going way ahead, but it just segued, through our ambassador program is a referral program. I don't know if we'll have time to touch on it today. I slept on this. I didn't understand it well enough when I got started on this journey a year ago. When you put solar on someone's house, I had a client, her words, God bless her, in Maryland, say, Aaron, you never told me it's like having a mini billboard on my house. I can't garden. I can't walk the dog. I can't have a barbecue without someone asking me a question. So roofers, that does not happen with a new roof. That does not happen. If you're bundling solar with this, your referrals are going to go through the roof. No pun intended. Thoughts on that?
Through the roof? Really?
It just came to me. I promise it wasn't.
I have thoughts on that comment, but I'll elaborate on the rest of it too. But you're absolutely right. If you think about the way you're saving people money, so there's people that are actually, you're buying the roof and you're adding expense to it, right? To your annual expenses of the home. And then if you say, listen, I'm going to do roofing and solar, you could actually lower your expenses for the year. And you can't think of anything else. There's nothing else that I can think of that you can do that does that. Yep. There's just not a product out there that you can do that with. So it is a very fun thing to talk about. It is compounding in so many ways. And I'm going to go back just a little bit and drive a point home, because the guy that's selling just the solar, again, I don't want to go through that whole example again, but for the guy that's offering the solar and the roofing together, he's going to pick up more jobs. And the guys that are selling just roofing by themselves are going to lose more jobs. So the more people that start offering this solar and roofing together are going to compoundingly drive that just roofer out of business. And it's going to
louder for the people in the back, man. That was really, can you say that one more time? That was really strong.
It's really, and I believe that. There's no way around. You can't convince me otherwise. You know that guy that sits behind that meme where he sits behind the table with the table skirt there? You got to prove me wrong on this point, because this is facts. If a roofing contractor starts offering solar, they are going to compoundingly take jobs away from the roofer that is only selling roofing. It's just a fact. And it gets worse, because once they start seeing it and other roofers start seeing that roofer is successful with roofing and solar, because now you're marketing to more people. You're marketing to roofers, or people that need roofs. You're marketing people that have too high of electric bill. You're marketing to people that maybe they just need a tax credit. Maybe they need a battery backup system. Maybe they need an EV charger and didn't realize that solar would drive it and they can get a roof all at the same time. You have so
Wow.
many more marketing abilities than just a roof, because a roof as a roof is a roof. You can put shingles up better than the next guy puts shingles up. I'm happy for you. But you got to find something else to do, because you're not going to be doing roofing for long. And I'm not trying to say that everybody's going to fail and go bankrupt, but if you're not offering solar with it, you're going to really struggle. And it's going to get worse every year, because more people, when I talk to them, I'm going to have them selling solar. My goal is to sign up and work with as many roofers as I can. And when I do that, it's going to leave less and less people on the sideline that are just doing roofing. And if you
Yep.
specialize in shingles, you're in trouble, because that's the majority of the roofs. I get it. But man, I'm going to start as much as I can, get people to work with solar and roofing. And it's such a benefit all the way around. Commissions go up for reps that are selling the roofing. I can't stress it enough. There's no reason that we should have a discussion of anything other than that happening.
But I love your passion on this, man. It's the posture. It really, those are my two takeaways thus far. And from a couple weeks ago on the building with Bobby,
Yep.
I talk to roofers a lot too. I say the same thing to real estate agents, HVAC. I think a lot of these will marry each other. I think you would agree with that.
Yep.
A conversation I had with a roofer about a month ago, I said, how long's your warranty? I think he said 25 years. I said, awesome, man. It's a solid warranty. And I said, so you do incredible work. Otherwise, I wouldn't be referred to you. He said, yes, of course, paid them for that one. And I said, so if you do incredible work, your warranty's 25 and all goes well, you install it on my house, you don't hear from me again for how long? And he goes, I never really thought about it like that. And I said, around 25 years. And he goes, yeah. I said, what other way are you monetizing that relationship? You worked so hard to earn their business and you can't monetize it for another 25 years? And he was like, oh my gosh. And that was really the segue that had him thinking about, I got to add more things to what I'm doing, more ways to monetize that relationship that we worked so hard to cultivate.
So you're hitting on something that I really think, for people in our positions, yourself and myself, and we start talking about going after roofers, and I don't mean going after in a negative way. I'm talking about trying to unite and work with them and join them and join the team and have them join us. That's the first thing I mention to them is listen. And listen, I'm going to make a bold statement right now.
Love it.
Aaron, listen, if you're a roofer and you want to double your revenue in 12 months of what you were last year, say you're a $10 million company. I don't care what the number is. I don't care if you were $1 million, 500,000. I don't care if you're 10 million. I can double your revenue next year, period. And I don't have a guarantee that I would give away that I can't. But if you don't double your revenue, you're doing something wrong. And by just adding solar. So let's just say, Aaron, you have a successful company and you got a $10 million roofing company. And I don't care what state you're in, it doesn't matter. As long as there's solar there and there's net metering and all that kind of stuff, and the policies are at least somewhat favorable.
Yep.
If you're in a state that does that and you don't go from 10 to 20 million in a year, there's something wrong. Because to get 10 million, right, first of all, no, let's just be real. 10 million, you're doing a lot of roofs. You're doing something right. You got a lot of sales teams. You got salespeople. You got sales teams out there, right? If you train them on how to say, because Aaron, the best sales pitch for solar in a house is, hey, now that I got you a roof estimate, did you know we did solar too? It's that simple, because solar has such a negative connotation about it, because everybody's, I don't want to talk about solar because it's been crammed down everybody's throat. Had 7 people knock on my door last week, and I've had 10 calls and the emails. I typed in something on Google, and damn, man, I get all this crap. So when they are talking to somebody they like and trust, whether it be the real estate agent you talked about, or the HVAC or the roofing guy, hey man, just so you know, we just opened up a solar division and we're really doing some fun things over there. It's great numbers, great warranties, and there's this great guy, Aaron, that we're working with. It's great, right?
Yep.
Why wouldn't you have that conversation? Because you are going to. Now, if that doesn't double your revenue, guess what does, Aaron? It's your book of business. If you've done $10 million of business, what do you have? You've got a book of business. And guess what you have? You have a bunch of clients that don't need a new roof before you get started with the solar. These people already have new roofs. There's not a better trades team or a contractor to work with than a roofer, because they have a book of business. They're on roofs, measuring roofs. They know how to sell a high ticket item. They can actually measure, and they have a good book of business. Some of them may have a couple hundred, but still a couple hundred contracts that you've closed. and you have happy clients, guess what? There's 100 people right there that you better put together the right email, use chat GTP. I don't care what you do, but put the right email, and it has to come from that business. Send it over and start. Hey, listen, thank you so much for trusting us with your business on the roofing. We want to let you know that we're opening up a solar division, and we'd like to come out and show you what we're doing. Who's
Strong.
that?
Strong.
Who's going to say
The other
no?
for people listening, David and I will help you with both of those. Like this, when you partner, honest, I want to be clear. When you partner with us, one of the things you're getting is our expertise on the solar side, but it's what we call together a business in a box. We don't want you having to go out. Like we have a lot of these emails, we have the correspondence, marketing materials. So as we have that conversation, we definitely can. I don't want anyone kind of getting lost in the sauce, being like, oh my gosh, what he said makes sense, but how do I do it? I'm struggling with my own marketing. If you're doing 10 million and you're not, be more confident. It's just about adding this leg of your business, which is powerful. I've heard you say this numerous times. The number one challenge facing roofers is the removal of existing panels when they're called out to do a job. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, that's how I got in touch with a lot of roofing contractors over the years, and or the homeowner. I've had homeowners call me on a Tuesday night and say, "Hey, man, I need your help. What's going on? I got a new roof going on tomorrow. Can you come take the solar off in the morning before they get started?" I'm like, "No, that's not happening."
You have two
Um,
hours, David. Why can't you be here?
exactly. All right, I'm on my way. So
Yeah.
the biggest pain point for a roofing contractor is, and the presentation you saw when we were
Yep.
the one that connected us really on this topic. We've been connected many times before, especially in California and so on. But the one that you wanted to talk about, this roofing, I had a picture in that presentation. I don't know if you remember it, but they were re-roofing a house, and the shingles and the solar panels were all connected on the house, and everything else was down to bare wood because they were re-roofing, but they won't get anywhere near that solar system. So
Yep.
roofers know that they don't want to touch the solar. They're either afraid of it, and or they realize the warranty issues, and that's just not their thing, and they don't want to do it. And that is a huge pain point. So for them to deal with having systems taken off and put back on, it needs to be the company that installed it. And so what happens if that company's not in business anymore? What happens if that company isn't? And I'll be honest with you, on the solar side of it, on the installation piece, I can tell you this. So it's solar is in such high demand, and the installation companies are in such high demand that if you were to call me and say, listen, I need you to take a system down, the best thing I can do for you is look for somewhere on a schedule where I can do an install in half a day and not have to take up a full day to go take a system
Yeah.
down, because it's probably not going to be anywhere near where I'm going to be putting a new system up, because systems typically are a 1 day project, whether it's 8 hours, 7 hours, 12 hours.
Yep.
Typically, this install is 1 day. And yeah, there's some outliers that 2, 3 days are really difficult or challenge or whatever. But most install companies, if you look at the business aspect of it, they don't want to spend 2 hours to take a system down, and that's half the job. And then they got to take another day to go back and put it up for 3 hours, and that's the job. It's just a pain in the it's a pain in the ass, Aaron. I don't know
Yep.
how to say it. I don't know if I can say
It's
that on here. That's
uncensored,
a
man.
pain in
Do
the
it.
ass, man. So the biggest pain point for roofers are to get them out there. And sometimes they call they call solar companies, and they're like, "Yeah, we just don't do that," because they're making money hand over fist doing installations that take all day long.
Yep.
They don't want. So the roofers' issue is not that they can't find solar companies to ask. They can't find solar companies to say yes to the removal and reset, because it's a 2 hour job
Yep.
and there's not much money made in it. Even though they're charged a lot, the way they take them down and the way they put them back up with the truck roll and labor and minimal labor and all that kind of stuff, you're going to pay a lot of money. So what I have, depending on where you're at, especially in Florida, I can get them done. I've got crews all over the place that do different things with a commercial, residential, or even just the removal resets. I've got resources, but that's the problem. That's why roofers struggle dealing with the roofing or dealing with a solar company. And I said this on that presentation, and I'll say it again. If you can solve that problem, Aaron, if
Yep.
you're in your area and you've got a team or a guy, I got a guy that I call, or I got a lady that I call, and they take care of that for me, I know I can get that done. You go to the roofing contractor and say, hey, man, I can help you out with removal resets and anything else in solar. And you're going to be the only solar guy in their contract, on their contact list. They're going to drop everybody else out of their phone,
Yep.
because that is so important to them. I have somebody that I can rely on. When I need this, I call Aaron. He's going to get that stuff taken off. I don't care what the cost is because it's insurance, or I don't care because I'm going to make the homeowner pay for it. They don't really care the price as long as it's reasonable. You're going to be the only one in their contact list for solar. When you look up solar on their phone, you can take it from them, and it's going to be Aaron. You know what I mean? It's just
Yep.
gonna. That's how it is. So it is a huge pain point, and I didn't. I hope you don't mind. I went a little deep on why.
No, for sure.
That's the driver for it, because it's solar companies. I had 3 crews on the road most days. Sometimes we had more, some less, but most days we had 3 crews, and I didn't want to have them set aside to go do a 2-hour removal. Why would I do that? Because I want to send them to 2 hours away to do a 12 kilowatt in a day. And instead, I've got to set them over here and wait till the sunlight, and I got to take my system down for 2 hours. And after that, they can't get over and do that job, and it's no sense driving 2 days. Let's just do it tomorrow.
Yep.
So it sucks. It sucks for the solar crews. But I do have crews that can do just those, and there are starting to be more and more crews that specialize in that. So if you can find them, get them in your contact list. If you're a roofer and or a solar contact or solar pro, if you're a solar pro, get them on your contact list, because you're going to make some really good friends in the roofing business, and then you can really recruit. My email that I send out it depends on if I've met them or not, right? But my email, the first line of my email, Aaron, is I can help you with removal and reset for new roofs. That's the number one line. Now I say, hey, Aaron, I don't know if you remember, we met the other day at a networking event.
No, I get it.
In the corner, blah, 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 blah. I can't wait to talk to you again. You said you're going to be at this thing, and we'll meet Thursday and talk further. But I just want to let you know, here's a list of things I can help you deal with. Number one is I can help you with the removal and reset for new roofing. Period. That's the number one thing I say, because that's the number one pain roofers have. Once you get that, you've got their attention. And then I list, hey, man, I can also help you out with referrals.
Problem solving, man. I mean,
so
that's
I
all it
mentioned
is.
the referrals first, because not all roofers want to dive in and learn solar. They're not too. So I mentioned the referrals, and I go down farther and say, listen, I can help you sell it. I can help you finance it. I can help you do everything. So I start top to bottom, but the pain point that is their biggest pain point, I take care of right out the bat. So
I love it, man. I love it.
Yep.
Let's talk money, if that's cool with you. It's important.
Yeah.
We need to. I know we're going to use generalizations, roofers, male, female. You're going to send us some hate. It's all good. We have to use our best, our knowledge and our best expertise on what we see nationwide. On a typical average roof, what is a roofer making? Ballpark.
So the rep, I'm going to say you're probably making $1,500 a roof is my guess.
Cool.
On the average.
And I would agree with that. I really would. I think it could even be a little bit lower depending on the scale of the company and how many mouths they're feeding. I know it was like that in my real estate business. The bigger we get, it became more of a volume play. We made less per deal. So I think that's a fairly accurate number. Talk about the average commission with our company nationwide for selling a typical 10 kilowatt solar job.
I would say we advertise 7,000, but I'm going to say it's more than that.
I would agree.
Probably around $8,000 on the average.
Yep. And that's take home to the seller.
The person, frontline seller, whoever sells the project. Done. $7,000. And then, and I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm going to just add to this.
Jump in, man. Yeah.
If you're making $7,000 for solar alone, and we have our own roofing division, or we sell the roof with it, what is commission then? You're talking add another $500, $600, $700, $800. It's not a ton, but you've already made $7,000 with the roof or the solar system. You're going to make some more with the roof. So it's even more than $7,000 if you add the 10 kilowatt with a roof on it. It's just crazy. So it's compoundingly better. I say it's 5x is what a rule of thumb I have. So let's just say it's 1,500, and then you go to 7,500. Let's just say it's conservatively 7,500. You 5x your commissions by selling solar and roofing.
That's crazy. You know, why
would you not do that? Give me a reason, Ken, why you wouldn't do solar and roofing. I just don't have a reason. I can't think of one.
You can't. The only reason I think in my conversations with the roofer is lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
They just don't understand it yet. And if you've made it 35 minutes in, you're starting to see this is bigger than what you thought, most likely. I know that was my reaction when I learned about it. Tony Robbins, I call him my mentor from afar. Obviously, he doesn't know me, but I study everything about him. I've heard him say several times, maybe even hundreds of times now, people are motivated by either pain or pleasure. My unsolicited response, more of us are motivated by pain than pleasure. That's just my firm belief, and I argue, prove me wrong. I look at those numbers, and I knew them. If you're not adding a solar division, it's fear of loss. You left $7,500 on the table for me or David to come scoop up. And I just want to think about it. I want to paint that picture. It's like the homeowner's trying to give you a check for 75, and you're like, David, I'm good, man. I am good. My roofing company is killing. No.
Yeah.
It's because you didn't know. Like, you already are face to face with the client that has the brand new roof. Why in God's name would you not add that conversation?
Totally agree. I couldn't agree with that more, Aaron. And the thing is, when I start talking to different roofers, there's so many different levels of the org structure. There's so many different levels of org structures in solar companies too.
Of
It's
course.
not just in roofing. It's in HVAC, it's in plumbing, it's in everything. Org structure means a lot when you start talking to people in the roofing. So if you've got an aging, and I'm just going to say aging because we all are aging, but if you're talking about an older group of three owners that own a third of the company and they're looking to maybe do another year and then
Yep.
they're going to close the business down, they're not going to jump in and start selling solar. They're just not. But if you have some people that are upcoming and they're going to be going to RoofCon on a consistent basis and they're going to see the new products and they're going to go see their new cutting edge stuff that they can put on their roof, the best sealants, the best vents, the best product out there, those are the people that are going to have sales teams that are going to see value in this. And they're going to be the ones that are going to be growing so fast that those guys that own a third of that company, they're just waiting another year, they're going to drive them out early.
Correct.
And I'm not being mean to those poor guys, but they're going to be driven out of business early from these guys that are hungry and looking for the new thing. So that's my opinion.
It's a fierce conversation. I'll give you that, but it's business. This is truth.
It's business.
If you're not growing, what are you doing? Like
you're getting run over. If you're not growing, you're getting run over. I've always said that. If you stand still, you're going to get run over. You don't win and stop. You keep moving. But as soon as you stop, you get run over by the competition and you get driven into the ground. And you can recover, but it's so much harder. So if you're moving forward, keep moving and just keep winning the best you can.
Yeah,
so
the other thing too, hearing you say it, if we were talking about a $1,500 commission for the roof and also for solar, I get it. Keep your head down. I shouldn't say I get it. I'm all about doubling my revenue, and that would be doubling, right? But I could at least entertain the argument. When we're talking about 5Xing what you're currently making and not having to do any additional work. Sorry if you yell. I'm passionate about this. Wake up. Wake up. You cannot object to that.
Absolutely. So before we go any farther, and listen, I could go on all day, but when I have thoughts pop in my mind, I'm all over the place. Hey, a squirrel and nickel, all that kind of stuff. So my thought process is when I talk to roofers, they're like, listen, man, I don't want to take time to learn it. There's no way that you're going to spend time to teach me. I don't have that time. I don't do that. It's hard and I'll never get trained. And I don't know how you respond to this, but I do tell people that the best solar training period on planet Earth, bar none, is the training that you and I have access to every single day. It is a world-class, unbelievable quantity and quality are top notch. There's nothing better. There's training specific to states. Every single week they have an hour-long training specific to Florida, because I'm going to mention Florida because that's where I'm at. You got Texas, California, the Carolinas, Ohio, Virginia. All these states have a specific training for an hour long, and they talk about how to sell there. They talk about how to deal with the combat the objections you're going to have. Last week I ran, so right after Bobby on last Friday, the next Tuesday I trained on how to sell in Florida and have against hurricanes. And right now we're watching a hurricane off the coast. That's what Florida does. We're more afraid of no air conditioning than we are of hurricanes. I'm just going to say that. That's a fact. But sadly, it's so true. But so the training, my whole point to that is they're always worried about the training, and there's no better training. And I don't know what your spin is on that, but there's no better training. You can take as much virtual training as you want. And when I was on, so last week for an hour, I talked about how to combat the objections of hurricanes. If you can't watch it at Tuesday at 10:30, guess what? It's on record. They record it and we put it on a website and you can go back and watch it. All the trainings we have, you can go back from the beginning and watch all of them. And it is the most diverse training, the most complete, holistic solar training I've ever dreamt of in this world. There's nothing that touches it, Aaron.
I'm going to give a different wrinkle to it. And I 100% agree with you. I want to be clear. I'm not saying I do not agree. I want to offer a different spin. And this is one of the things I love about our company that we're partners in together. We have the most robust training. I hear from solar professionals every single day that join us, lock arms with the two of us. Oh my gosh, if we would have had this at my company, game over. I will also tell you that we have both partnered with roofers who have no intention of learning it. They want to be able to hand off referrals to someone like David or myself or both of our teams. They're bringing in the lead. They're collecting the utility bill. They're having David and our teams run point. So actually do the presentation, whether in person or virtual. And we figure out a commission split for that. So it's hands off. They're just leveraging a relationship they have, no intention of learning it, and still making a killing. Because even splitting commission, it's double, if not almost 3 times more than what a typical roofer is making just on selling a roof job. So you can come over, plug in with us, learn all of it, make the lion's share or partner with us on this and have no intention of learning it at all. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. I started doing numbers. That's why I started looking around. You bring up an interesting point. Instead of them making the 75, they're going to make half that, and
Yep.
then they're still going to make money on the roof. So I was trying to figure that number. It's not 5x, but you're going to be at least 3xing your numbers when you sell solar. And what's the involvement? It's, hey, Aaron, we're doing solar now, and we have the perfect team. Can you give me an electric bill? While they're at the house measuring for the roof, they get an electric bill and they're done.
Yep.
So that's a great point. And that's what I allude to in the email, where I say we can help with this, but we can also help with referrals, or we can help you show you how to sell it. So it's everybody's comfort level. But you got a great point. And that's the people that I think get missed a lot of times for this opportunities, because most people don't want to have to learn
Correct.
and have to learn how to sell and deal with all that. And it's a little easier than most people think. However, if you don't want to take the time and energy and do, that's fine. I'm with you. Refer it. We'll close it for you. We'll split it and we'll go from there. So you're absolutely right. That's something that a lot of people in this industry overlook. But you are 100% correct, though.
I love it. I love it. One other question we have that I've heard you talk about, it's a sexy phrase. I think you know where I'm going. I'm going to make a reel with this one for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be on TikTok. I've heard you say the phrase business flirting a lot. What the hell is that? What does it mean?
Yeah, I've been saying that for I bet 5-6 years now. I don't know where it came from, but
just own it.
It is a fun thing to say, man. I always say, listen, I was business flirting with these people, and they're like, "You did what?" And
Yep.
I'm like, it's not what it sounds like. It's not bad, but let me just tell you what I consider business flirting, and I want to get a shirt and I want to trademark that. Maybe I'll just wear it around. But what I like to do is how I find certain people to team up with in business, whether it be roofing or it doesn't matter. If I see something on social media where they posted something on a roof, let's say they just posted this gorgeous 30 square roof and somewhere in Maryland, I'll be like, man, that is the most beautiful roof I have ever seen. And I'm flirting with them, but it's not to date, it's to do business with. So I just recoined it and said, listen, this is business flirting 101, because what I'm doing is I'm saying positive things about them. It's just like you're picking somebody up at the bar. It's like, this is no alcohol, right?
Yep.
And it's virtual. So if you get said no to, it doesn't hurt as bad, right?
No, not
but
at all.
I'm like, listen, man, that's a beautiful roof. And so how do you finish that? They're like, oh, thanks, man. I very much appreciate it. I say, hey, can I repost that? Yeah. I said, they're great. So I reposted it or whatever. And I say, hey, you know what would look really good on that roof? Hell, a 16 kilowatt system, man, to help you with tax credits and make you more commissions. And they're like, I'm not doing. So at that point in time, you already know whether you can flirt with them more or you need to move on and flirt with somebody else. So it's very definitive. They're like, dude, I'm not ever trying solar again. I'm done with that shit. Guess what? You move on, you business flirt with somebody else. But it's literally an introduction, and it doesn't have to be us or anybody. It could be any industry, anybody. But I just say business flirting. I just don't know where it came from, but I've been using it for a while. But I love that. But it's social media. I just compliment people and about their business and say, hey man, you got a book of business. I can help you make millions. They're like, no, that's it. So one way or the other, you're going to find out real fast. So it's kind of like dating. You get slammed, you get told no, whatever. So
it's a numbers game. You got to put yourself out there. The other thing with the money, and I got to be careful saying this too on our team. Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've been very blessed. I've worked really hard. My real estate business, title, lending, I own several businesses, helped a lot of people make a lot of money. I have never in my life seen anything as lucrative as solar. And I mean that on my kids. I put that on everything. We had a brand new business partner. He was in the real estate space, start with us like 3 months ago. His first month, and I didn't even show this publicly. He's so quiet. So he's going to kill me for this, but you'll know this. His first month with us, he earned $97,000 in solar commissions.
Yep.
97 grand. I've helped a lot of people make money, never in their first month. Never. It would take years. Just by plugging into it to what David and I are teaching. And that wasn't even a roofer, by the way. It was a database. Let's keep that real. If that doesn't, he's smiling for those watching on YouTube. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what does.
I have to address something. Every time you say that, or I say that, or anybody else says that, I get and it's real. I saw that. I know what you're saying, and it's a fact. It has happened. It does happen. Does it happen to everybody? No.
No, absolutely.
But it's just like the rule of everything else. What you get out of it, what you put in it. Obviously, good game plan, great communication, great sales ability, done. It's the perfect storm. It blew up right in front of him, and he was the storm, right? He was the lightning or the catalyst of this storm, whatever you want to say. But what I will say this is I used to be in this camp, and I'm not anymore, but I used to be like, man, you're making that much money on people, you're gouging them. You're just gouging them. And I don't know if you hear that. Do you hear people say that when we talk about commissions, how much money we make?
So it's funny you say that, man. This is why I love this. This was not where we were going to go at all, but this is real. This is real life. I
Yep.
only do from solar professionals. When I show them, and
Yep.
on average,
Yep.
solar professionals for other companies, not ours, are making close to what roofers are. It's
Yep.
that 15 to 3 grand is what I've seen.
Yep.
And when I'm showing them, I had one last night, by the way. The commission was 21,000,
Yeah.
and the client
So
won. Client won big time.
that's my point. That's my point. So what I want to make sure, if anybody's watching that and they're like 97,000, what he sell 3 deals and he made that much money, and maybe he did. I'm sure.
No,
I
it
know
was
he
more.
didn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know he sold a lot of jobs. But the point is, the fact the way our system is set up, I can remember. I remember I was $17,000 under somebody once, and they said if you can match that or beat it, we're going to go with you. And so I literally split the difference because I couldn't come at them with $17,000 cheaper on the system size because they would be like, "Where'd you go, Radio Shack, to get this shit?"
Yep.
So you can't. There's times that you can't be as low as we can be. If that just didn't sound right, but I think you know what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm with you.
You can't go at them with the prices that we can actually be at as low as we can, because what it is, it's the buying power that we have. The things that our founder has done is ridiculous, man. And the buying power and everything that we have in our arsenal, and I don't want to say low quality. It's certainly not low quality. It's high quality and low cost. And the way it's set up right now, and as this company really wants to, and I really am so excited about this because they want to incentivize the end or the frontline seller. The frontline seller makes every business run.
Yep.
I don't care if we're talking about roofing or solar or whatever. So they've made it to where the maximum amount of money that can be paid out to the seller is what we get. And it's really crazy. And such a small margin goes to the company. And they do it by adding more and more people. So there's more and more people coming on the platform that we work on all the time. And there's still tons of room, because what's the percentage that we've taken that's available of solar right now in the US?
Less than 3%.
Yes. So it's about, let's round up and say it's 4%.
Yeah.
So 96% of available homes are still available to sell to. So
Wake up.
So
Wake
it's
up.
not, this isn't like listen, people call it the gold rush all the time. That's fine. You can call it whatever you want. It's so early. Really. It's so early in the process. We're 4% in. At the most, it's not even 4%. We're running up to 4%. The fact that we're in a position to where we make the commissions we do, and it's so early in the game, it's unbelievable. So roofers, they needed to call either Aaron or David today. Don't
Call
you think?
both of us, man.
My goodngoodness.
I can't even end yet. Hopefully, because there's one more that I want to talk about. But something you just said. This is the only time, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this publicly, that I've disagreed with our owner. I think he's so amazing, and you'll get where I'm going with this. He's like, he's getting me off this. Not me. Humor me for a second. I hear him say all the time, we're in the top of the first inning at this play. I disagree. I think we're still at batting practice. I legit do. And I know he just said it's the gold rush. Call it whatever you want. I believe, my humble opinion, there will be more wealth generated from solar and renewable energy than any of us will see in our lifetime. I really do. You can sit on the sideline. That's up to you. I know how I'm playing. I'm playing all out for myself, my family, my community. I know David is as well. That choice is yours. There is nothing else like this. These opportunities come around once in a lifetime. It's just, what are you going to do with it?
I think we're still parking the car. We're not even in batting practice.
You had to show me.
We're outside.
So now he disagrees. Now you're right.
We're not even in the stadium right now. So
you're right.
It is crazy. We're still early in the game. It's not even funny.
And then, one last question, man. I know we're up against it. And I love this topic. I don't know why I saved it for the end, but it's so good. Expansion.
Yeah.
So if you have a roofer and you're in Tampa Bay, Florida, that is their only market. How can they expand, or how can you have that expansion conversation when they partner with us at our company?
Yeah, this is man. You could I see the time we've been on here, so I'm going to try and keep it short. But you know me, so I apologize.
No, run, dude. It's a powerful conversation, because if you're not expanding, what are you doing?
Exactly, because if you're not expanding, you're going to get run over.
Yep.
So the thing about it is, when I talked earlier about, if you're not selling solar, or if you're not selling solar with your roofing company, you're going to get destroyed. And I believe that. So another aspect of, if you can double, then you can triple. And if you can triple, you can quadruple. I think you can easily quadruple your company like this. If you have a roofing company that's in Tampa, Florida, and you're crushing it, and you've always wanted to go to Texas, but you've never been able to, if you get into solar and you're selling solar and, first of all, think about this. There's so many ways to go with this. So now we're selling solar and roofing in Tampa, and we go from $1,500 commissions to, we can talk profits for the company are going to 5x. The
Yep.
company profits are going to 5x, right? So now you're making more money. And now guess what? If you wanted to go to Dallas, Texas, go get an office and start selling solar. You don't have to, if you don't have the roofing crews and capacity to go there, don't use solar or don't use roofing to be your expansion conduit. Use the solar product, use the solar systems and everything that we have, and start selling solar in 2 or 3, 4 different states. And as you get the business for roofing, bring on the crews there. It's that easy. So
Love it.
when I start talking to roofers, I ask them so many questions up front. Listen, man, are you guys interested in growing? As soon as they say no, I'm out. Next, who's the? I'll go right down the street, knock on the next damn door. But I'm talking to people that want to grow and want to expand. And when they want to grow and want to expand, man, listen, you want to be where? You want to be in North Carolina, South Carolina? Why not? Why aren't you there?
Yep.
Okay, you're roofing and it's it's cash flow. Okay, all right. What if we fix your cash flow with solar? And then you can go up there then you can use the cash flow to do that, or just offer solar up there, get some solar sales going, and then you're in that area. Then you start advertising, co-branding your solar and roofing company together into the Carolinas, and you're moving from Florida now to the Carolinas. And now what's your 5-year plan? Hell, we just accomplished it in 6 months. What is your next 5-year plan? Excuse me, I just about really went off. But what's your next 5-year plan? Because we just beat that one in 6 months. You were trying to get to Carolinas in the next 5 years. That shit's old news. What are you going to do now? Where's Texas on your map? Is it next? Let's do it in 6 months too. So I'm sorry. I'm really getting wound up now. But yeah, the expansion piece of it, just like the doubling. Now think about this. If you have, instead of one spot in Tampa, now you're in each of the Carolinas, then you went to Texas. Now you got 4 places. Now if you double all those, what's that number? That's 8x.
Yep.
It's crazy. So
The
yeah,
other piece of that, we don't talk about this enough, man. It's smart business. I currently sell, I know you do too. I sell in over 20 states. I will never, ever put my family's fortune in politicians' hands and a state economy's hands. God forbid something happened to Florida. We couldn't sell solar tomorrow. I don't mean to put that in the universe. I know it's your home state. We're in 20 other states.
yeah.
We're not stuck. And in real estate, that was my life. I could only service Northern Virginia where I live. So God forbid I met someone else that wanted to sell in Florida. I couldn't even touch it. Now with this platform, I could be on a cruise ship and selling deals. It changed everything for our family.
Absolutely.
I love it,
You
man.
can sell from anywhere, anytime. And like you said, the 22 states and Puerto Rico and getting ready to open up in Hawaii or we're going to be going to New York and constantly evaluating new markets that make sense. So
Totally.
Not everywhere is a great place to sell solar. They're like, why aren't you in all 50 states? Nothing against Wisconsin, but is that a good place to go sell solar? I don't know. There's so many things to consider. It's
got to make sense.
What's the return? How much sun does Wisconsin get? Do they even see the sun up there? And I'm just picking on Wisconsin as an outlier, but you never know. We might be selling there in a couple of years because there's great incentives there. We don't know.
Love it.
Anyway, man, I've talked all day long. I am so sorry this has gone this
No,
long.
dude. This is what it's all about, man. This is going to break some records. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
How do our viewers get in contact with you? You're on Facebook. How can they reach out to you for more?
LinkedIn, Facebook, either one. Absolutely.
Cool.
Ringo, last name. There's not too many. You can find me on many different pages and forums out there. I love talking roofing and solar. And I would say this, if you want to meet me in person, it's real easy to do. And I'll tell you, November 9th, 10th, and 11th, be in Orlando. I'll be there, RoofCon. Man, I'm going to be talking to every single roofer that I can possibly get. And this is not a plug for RoofCon. Didn't intend to be. Maybe it is, but I will be at RoofCon talking to every single roofing contractor that I possibly can. And I think every one of them should be going to RoofCon. That's just the conference for roofers. That's the conference that's for me, it's business minded. They're not going to be there drinking. It's not a partying conference. There's other ones that do that, but for me, RoofCon is the business for roofers, and it's a big one. And
love it.
They had Tim Tebow there last year, so they have headline speakers that are massive. So I'll be there if you want to meet in person. And between then, just let me know when you're going to be in Tampa or somewhere close. So
love it, man.
But yeah, they can reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Real easy to get a hold of me.
Cool. David, I'll speak for our audience, man. I can't thank you enough. You are a wealth of knowledge. It's what I led with. You come from a business mindset, which is, it's my love language, man. I freaking love it. I can't thank you enough. You dropped some bombs, dropped some nuggets. Our audience, please, guys, he did this for free. I do it for free. We're here to bless people in the solar space, roofing, HVAC, anybody that touches a home. We are here. We want to be a resource for you. All we ask is if you could please share and review this podcast, whether it's traditional podcast or on the YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Reach out to David. He's happy to help. He's an open book, as you can see. With that, appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of the day. Be good, be safe, and God bless. We'll talk soon.